Do we have the power to overcome the systems beyond our control? That is the question that Purgatory Academy Book 1 asks. Purgatory Academy is a graphic novel series I created back in 2019, published in 2020, and it's about heaven, hell, and having 4 years to decide. I want to do something interesting in this series where I read the story out to you and I provide the commentary of what my mindset was back then, or what I can remember from that mindset back then, and we're just gonna have a fun time. All right, let's get to it. Well, dang it, that was a baller. No, we're gonna keep it. I did it before. Bird, close your eyes. All right, close your eyes. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Alright, here we go. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he die, he yet shall never live again. And whoever lives, believes in me, shall never die. This was from a book that my dad gave me. My dad's a pastor, and through all of his pastoral duties, he has like book recommendations and all that's one of the stuff, all this, that, and the third. Because I remember when I was like having research for this intro right here, I had a feeling that there are usually a set script when it comes to eulogies. I think that's what they're called. And I asked my dad, is there any set things that you say during funerals, right? And he said yeah, and he showed me the book, and this was after flipping through it, this was the first. And I use Times New Roman for the text, just to have that effect of, this is not somebody's reading this, and these are not their words. So it changes after that, and I used back issues BB when it came to the text. So anyway, moving on from that, I always thought that there would be nothing after death. So many religions say so many different things, including how each other are wrong. I thought that nobody knew what they were talking about, and they were afraid of what they didn't know, the absolute nothingness that death brings. The idea of Travis came from actually just the idea of nihilism. I know people say write what you know, and when I sell these books, or I talk about these books at flea farmers markets, a lot of people think that Travis is supposed to be me, and I'm like, no, Travis is just a black guy. And I kind of understand, but that's another topic for another day. But the idea of Travis was a guy that has like, it's just an embodiment of a surface level idea of just there is nothing after death. Basically what he just said. So after he leaves his casket, waking up to his own funeral, he gets off his casket. He walks to the end of the church. I'm sorry, Mom, Dad, everyone, and we move over to the cover art. This is garbage. I know, because this was my first time making a graphic novel, comic, manga, whatever you want to call these things. I originally wanted to be an animator, but after animating for several years, I realized that I don't have the patience for drawing the same thing for 12 frames a second and posting it on social media where nobody's going to care about it. And I wanted to tell stories anyway. And my sister came along, showing me Image Comics and Vertigo Comics. And after like flipping through it, I was like, holy crap, this is like 30 minutes to an hour long worth of content in a story. And I wanted to get into animation because I wanted to tell stories, and looking at Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and all that stuff, and Disney XD, because I'm a real man. The real Disney XD, the true man's Disney. I wanted to make cartoons like that and tell stories like that. So when I saw all these trade back comics, I was like, okay, what I want to do is possible, and I can probably get it done faster just by making it a comic or a graphic novel or a manga. But hey, moving on. And I wanted to like do a cover image for every book or every chapter, but we'll I'll get more into that later after this book. But we're gonna go over the first 20 pages of this book to see what's going on and to see if everybody likes it so far. Okay. Moving on to the next part. We open up to the gymnasium of Purgatory Academy, and we see Jim sitting on the bleachers away from everybody on the gymnasium floor, mingling, trying to figure out what's going on. And Jim is like, well, I showed up late. This is great. He says, this is great. Whether this is a dream or not, this still feels real enough for the time being. At the very least, I wish that I was here sooner. Everybody already buddied up in their own groups. So he showed up late. He can't interact with anybody. You ever had that feeling when you're just a part of the, when you're just part of a group, and you see everybody is just already intermingling with each other, and there's no room for you to like join in, unless you'll just look like a weirdo, a freak, an outsider. So you just end up like listening to other people's conversation, and you just ends up people watching at the end of the day. Yeah, this is what Jim is doing. I totally never had that experience ever in my life. Maybe not, but Travis enters the Purgatory Academy. He enters the gymnasium thinking that he was going to be in hell or heaven or whatever in the other side of the abyss of the shining light that we saw at the second page. But he realizes that he's in a gymnasium. Also, fun fact I remember, I had no idea what Travis would say first, right? As soon as he entered the gymnasium, because funny fact that this is a part of cringe that I'll share onto you. I did not know what to make Travis say. So the first thing that came to my mind is I should make a reference. And what I was interested at the time was Danganronpa. And I remember he was going to say something about a killing game. And now, knowing what I do know now, I'm so glad I didn't do that. That's so cringe. But hey, we moving on. We moving on up. Moving on to the next thing. As he enters the gymnasium, the door slams by itself. He pushes himself against the door, and then he looks past the window, and he sees nothing. The blackness. He sees black smoke, and he hears that the door only opens from the outside. But who's saying that? It's our big buddy Jim. Jim, our fellow chum. Trust me, I tried. But that clicking noise is new. And Travis says, what's happening? Your guess is as good as mine. As I look at the clock above the door, as it's ticking down from a minute, T minus 1 minute. So, my name's Jim. So, where did you come from? My name's Travis. I came from my own funeral. You too, huh? Everybody here is dead, like us. Seems that way. To be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of afterlife. So they're just chatting up buddy until the buzzer hits 0, and that makes everybody shut up, right? Until they hear a tapping of shoes, very nice shoes on hardwood floor. And then we see well, hello students, I'm your principal Lucifer, and welcome to the Purgatory High School. Another fun fact, this originally was called Purgatory High School, and I didn't even bother to change it. So, and you can also tell because there are some students with a PHS jackets on their sweatshirts, like over here. But it's something that I didn't bother to change, but hey, it is what it is. We moving on up. So I think I stuck with the idea of Purgatory Academy because I like the symmetry of that title. But hey, we moving on. We moving on up. Put in the chat. We moving on up. In the description, moving on up. If you've gotten to this far, moving on. Well, what and everybody, the most childish thing you could do after trying to mention people, explain exposition. People just go back to talking about whatever they want to talk about. Like this is so real. When I remember when I was in school, like after a faculty tells like the entire everybody to shut up, Like, as soon as somebody gets bored, they turn back to talk to their friends, and then more people do that, and then it causes a chain reaction until everybody ends up talking again. And well, amongst all this talking, Lucifer is like, "What did I even get myself into? I can't even hear myself think. I hate to be that guy, but it's the fastest way to get to them." So he does a little buzzer thing again, kills everybody's eardrums, and he's like, "Well, as I was saying, welcome to hell. Purgatory, to be exact. You're a Purgatory Academy, you gotta change that. But hey, moving on up." And then he goes into exposition of why everybody's here. Listen, there was no purgatory before this project started because all of you didn't fall into the big man's nice list. You're here with me, but thanks to me, you sinners get aren't going and shoot. I can't read. I'm sorry, but thanks to me, you sinners aren't going to take the big dip in the lake of sulfur yet. Instead, based on how old you are when you die, you'll be spending 1 to 4 seemingly waking years down here to set yourself straight. When your time is up and you played your cards right, then whatever happens, happens. Got any questions? So, this whole premise came from the Book of Job, where Satan went to God and said, "Yo, God, I can I can make Job, your most loyal person, hate you." And God was like, "Oh, bet, go ahead, try it." And Satan made Job go through like a whole bunch of pain and torture, killed everybody, killed all his family, killed all of his crops, and Job was like, Job was like that one Filthy Frank video. "I got one question for God. Why?" And God was like, "Oh yeah, why? Bet, check this." And then he just showed him the universe, and he was like, "All right, yeah, humble yourself, bruh." But I like the Book of Job. That was pretty cool. Anyway, going to moving on from the inspiration from this idea. This, instead of like Job being the Lord's most devoted follower, it's just a bunch of kids who just started to think differently from their parents, and seeing where they go from there. That's basically where the backbone of the idea came from. And then Sarah came from Sarah. That's from Susan. Sarah's for the next series. Watch out. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you like this. Subscribe to see more, because I'll talk about where the name Susan, where Susan came from. But Sarah came from. Blah. Anyway, Susan says, "This is stupid," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Why are you working with God? Why are you working with God? Aren't you supposed to be the symbolism of individualism? Be like the whole what was it? Why is the ultimate symbol of individual anti-authority and free thinking the leader of a high school? Aren't you aren't you all about freeing us from institutions just like God's hell of a heaven? What about not harming children? Period." Oh yeah, this was like part of the what was it? The 11 virtues of Satanism. This, because I remember way back. Another side note. I remember way back when I was chilling with my friend Marty Reynolds. He was in the early, like very beta stages of the idea of Purgatory Academy, and we were getting all of our ideas set for like the world building. I remember we were like looking at how we're gonna form Satan, like since Lucifer's gonna be a part, how we're gonna like show Lucifer. Are we gonna do anything with Luciferianism? Are we gonna do X, Y, and Z? And I remember that's one of the things that kind of stuck with me, and I put that idea or that perception of Lucifer or Satan onto Susan. And she's not really a Satanist. She's just a person that knows things. That's my idea. Her whole mindset is just secular humanism, like X-wave feminism, I guess, secular humanism, and she doesn't take no nonsense or whatever. And that's basically her character type as what I was writing her. Moving on. And Lucifer is like, "What is this chick on?" And he just waves her away, saying, I can see how this situation looks ironic, and I agree that you students deserve an answer. But we're running out of time, so the best answer I can give you right now is it's because I care. And she's like, I'm not buying that. Who cares? Too bad. So sad. All right, the doors are unlocked. You can go to your lockers. They'll contain your class schedule along with the school supplies, what you need. The lockers are first come, first serve. My gift to you. The students for ages 14 and 15 get the east side. And oh, yeah, this doesn't matter in the story. Let me tell you that. I'm sorry. Moving on. And Jim catches Travis's attention, does a little joke, says I'm your principal Lucifer and welcome to Jackass. And references, I had to put them in. I was starting off. I need to do at least one. Cut me some slack. We're moving on up. And Jim and Travis, they have a back and forth because, like I said, this is how I used to joke. Well, it's how I joke right now. Just like having that like yes and type of back and forth comedy. And what this conversation really doesn't this conversation doesn't matter, but it's just like my way of them growing accustomed to each other's humor so they could become closer friends, because this is an aspect of me writing what I know or what I knew back then. Because me personally, the best way when I was in high school, the best way I knew how I can like be good friends with somebody, it doesn't matter how different I thought our philosophies were. If I liked their brand of humor, like we were just going to be friends no matter what. So this is how I rationalize, for the lack of a better word, how the relationship started. So moving on. And this was a concept that I might bring back. I don't know. As soon as they chose their locker, there is a mechanism that captures, I don't know, their soul ID or whatever. And their names were like numbers that I've written down in gematria. So they're still going like their back and forth type of jokes. And they're still going their back and forth type of jokes. And they're trying to figure out what their schedules are. So once they find out their schedules didn't align. So they were thinking that maybe they can like switch it out with somebody else. And up until this little panel happens, and they're like, "No, this is your schedules. You can't do anything." And they're like, and then Travis says, "Wow, that sucks. I guess it can't be helped. Looks like we don't get any breaks either. Shouldn't we at least have a study hall or something? I better, whatever. I guess it can't be helped. I better find my class before I'm late. All right, see you third period." And that's pretty much where we're going to end off right now. Let me know if you like it, if you hate it, what would you rate it? That's my go-to. I'm sorry. But let me know what your thoughts so far. Subscribe if you want to see more. Tell me what I can improve on. Because, hey, this is pretty fun. This is way better than trying to dub it and be serious, because this is less embarrassing for me. Anyway, tell your friends about this, because I believe in these stories. Oh yeah, and also check it out in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. Anyway, peace out. Love you. Bye.